What is up? Your girl is back with another one. Hey, hey. Hey to everybody that is hopping on rather quickly. You're not wasting no time. Hey to y'all. Peace, peace, peace. Listen, today we're going to be talking about spiritual preparation. Spiritually preparing for the chaos that is already taking place. Um, we got natural disasters happening right now, from earthquakes to hurricanes to just, quote unquote, a recession. There's just a lot going on. And so today I want to talk about the spiritual meaning of those things. What does it mean spiritually? And how do we actually prepare for all of this stuff? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let me get y'all to come on in the room. Say, hey, peace, Rob, G Moore. Who else is over here on Instagram? Say hey so I can see exactly who you are. I want to say hey to you directly. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, love, and be over here on YouTube. On YouTube, y'all say what's up so I can know who's in the building. Peace, peace, peace. Listen, as a Houstonian, hey, what's up, sis? Long time no see. What's up, Add a Little Sugar? I love that name. I love that name. What's up, Divine Zoe? What's up, the Muscle Guru? What's up, family? Listen, we have hurricanes happening in Florida, earthquakes that have just taken place in Mexico. I believe Puerto Rico has been affected with some stuff. I know Cuba has been affected with some stuff. And I think it's so important for us as spiritual people, right? As spiritual people having a human experience, I think it's so important for us to understand what these natural disasters are really, right? I live in Houston, born and raised. And when I tell y'all we've experienced some stuff, we've experienced some stuff. Like hurricanes is mostly the thing that happens here in Houston. And it's no joke. It's no joke, but I've learned a few things in the many hurricanes that I've experienced. And I just want y'all to know that everything has a spiritual meaning, everything has a spiritual essence, and there's a way that you can actually prepare yourself for what's to come and prepare yourself for what's happening in this moment. I am Infinite Being all the way in Florida. I hope that you remain safe. I'm glad that you are on here right now because we're going to be talking about what the meaning of all of this is and how you can get in alignment, right? Divine Zoe said, when all of these natural disasters are basically happening, it's a sign of the end times. But I'll be questioning if the world could really end. That's a great question to have. Peace, Stellar Jewel. Peace, love. Peace, all y'all. So here's the thing. When we are experiencing, this is so juicy. When the world, right? When these certain locations, we think New Orleans, we think Houston, we think Florida, we think all of the stuff that has happened, Cuba, Puerto Rico, even in Thailand, when they experience these tsunamis and they experience these monsoons and we experience all this chaos, what's really happening is what I like to call a tower moment. If you know anything about the tarot, if you know anything about spiritual divination, spiritually, there's always a moment where things have to come crashing down. Things have to be destroyed in order for you to rise up, in order for a new way of living, a new way of being, a new earth to be created, right? A lot of times, whenever we're experiencing these natural disasters, however they come, right? And don't get it twisted. A natural disaster doesn't just have to be a hurricane. It doesn't just have to be a tornado. It doesn't just have to be an earthquake. It doesn't just have to be those things. But natural disasters can be when you, within your personal life, within your being, when you feel like you are in a state of chaos, when you feel like you have no control, when you feel like everything in your life is just moving so fast and you don't feel very grounded, you don't feel very rooted in who you are and within your life. Okay. And so those moments, those tower moments, right, where you just feel like you don't have any control. You feel like you're being pushed, you're being stretched, you're being extended, you're being put in uncomfortable situations. Those moments are for your growth and evolution. Whenever we are seeing and experiencing these natural disasters, what is really happening on a spiritual level is that the specific places that it is happening in are being cleansed, purged, and purified. And that needs to happen. That needs to happen because a lot of times there are spiritual blockages. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of times there are spiritual blockages, meaning there are things that you cannot see that are at play that are blocking you, or that are blocking a location, that are blocking a certain geographical region, that are blocking you from getting to where you got to go. So the storm has to come, the hurricane has to come, the tornado has to come, the earthquake has to come. All of these things have to come to shake up your foundation so that you destroy the way that you've been living, destroy the way that you've been existing, so that you can be and rise up and align with who you truly are. Right? A lot of times you are experiencing a spiritual blockage or a natural disaster because you're really not in alignment with the Most High. You're not in alignment with the divine. You're not in alignment with what is really good for your being. And a lot of times, family, when you don't face these challenges, when you don't create challenges within your own life, when you don't push yourself to stretch and go beyond, right, what you've been used to, when you don't do that, the universe, God, the divine, nature, life itself will shake up your reality to get you to where you have to go. Okay? And so you got to get spiritually prepared, because you can be collateral damage. Okay? You may live in a place, in Houston. I've been through many hurricanes, many natural disasters. I mean, I remember being a kid. Lights out for days. I remember this was it was a hurricane that happened shortly after Hurricane Katrina. A hurricane that happened shortly after Hurricane Katrina. I've been in so many. It's amazing, right? That's one thing, that when you live in Houston, when you live near the coast, right, you're going to experience some of those things, like location, right? It's so funny. Like Dream and I were having a conversation. I believe it was with Dream, but we were talking about why certain things happen in certain places, because we were on Amazon. We were on Amazon Prime. We were watching that movie about the kids who were in Thailand and they went inside a cave. Did y'all see that movie? The kids in Thailand, they went inside a cave on this little boy's birthday. They were a soccer team. They went inside this cave because they're exploring. This cave is a part of their world. It's a part of their life. Like, right? Like if you live near a cave, if you live near a physical phenomena, right? A divine structure, right? If you live near that, you're going to want to explore it. The same way, like if you live near a beach, or if you live near Stone Mountain, you are going to want to climb that mountain, or you're going to want to go to the beach, because these creations, these supernatural creations, are just amazing. And it makes you realize how divine life is, right? When you go into these places, you go to the beach and you sit out and you look at the ocean, you realize, like, wow, like I am a part of something that is so magical, right? Something that is so grand, right? It's like a natural phenomena. That's why people go to the zoo. You go to the zoo because you get to see these elephants and these giraffes and these alligators and these lions. You get to see the manifestation of God, right? And so that's why you go to these places. So the boys in Thailand, they see this cave that is, amazing, and they decide that they want to go and explore it. And it just so happened that when they went into that cave, a monsoon came in Thailand. And what a monsoon is just rain for days, heavy rainfall for days and days and days and days and days, nonstop rain. And these boys, they get stuck in the cave. Did y'all watch that movie? Did y'all watch that movie on Amazon Prime? Such a good movie, right? A long one, but it's good. So they get stuck in the cave, natural disaster, a monsoon. They get stuck in this cave and they're in there for 20 plus days. They're stuck in a cave for 20 plus days. And, it took a special team of people to actually get those boys out, right? But the point that I'm making is that life is these natural disasters and earth and this planet is so divine, it's so sacred, it's so magical, right? It really is. And so, these natural disasters are really just showing us that if we don't make these changes, if we don't move, if we don't do what we need to do, life will come and shake things up. And sometimes you could be collateral damage if you are not in alignment with your spirit, if you are not in alignment with your higher self, right? Like I think about on that movie with Amazon Prime, there was one of those boys, right? It was a soccer team of I think it was like 13 kids, and then they had one coach that got stuck in the cave. But one of those boys in that movie, he did not go in the cage. I'm saying cage. He did not go in the cave. He didn't go in. Okay. His mama told him, no, you need to come home at 5 o'clock or something like that. All of his teammates, they went in the cave. He went home because he did what his mama told him to do. He listened to that divine feminine energy. He listened to his mother, right? So he doesn't go in the cave. And so when the birthday party is about to start, the boy is like, the mama's like, well, where are all your friends? And he's like, oh, they went to the cave. They went to the cave. They went to go explore. They went to go do that. And that's how they realized that the boys were stuck in a cave. But that kid that listened, he followed his intuition. See, a lot of you get caught up in natural disasters. You get caught up in chaos because you're not tuned into your spirit. You're not tuned into your higher self, or you are afraid to listen to that intuitive knowing. Okay? And you end up being collateral damage, right? Because at the end of the day, if something needs to be cleared, if something needs to be cleansed, if something needs to be purged and purified, God, the Most High, the divine, the universe is going to do that. It's going to happen. You have to understand that every location, this is so freaking sacred. I love this. But there's a spirit, there's an energy that is connected to these geographical locations. Okay? Y'all got to think, the planet Earth has been here for we can't even conceptualize how long the planet Earth has been around. And so each of these locations, each of these, points of land, right, have a meaning. They have a spiritual essence based off what has taken place in those geographical locations. Okay? And sometimes the energy that dwells in a certain space is not one that is of love. It's not one that is of, of divinity. It's not one of power. And so a natural disaster will come to clear it out and make you have to rebuild. All right? Does that make sense? Like Miss Blue said, if nothing else moves you, life will. And a lot of times in these specific locations, people are not moving. People are not growing. People are not accepting the change that must take place. They've lost their connection. They've lost their connection to the divine. They've lost that connection for whatever reason. All right. And so these natural disasters come to force you to go within. Because best believe one thing, you cannot control that hurricane. You cannot control a hurricane. You cannot control a tornado. But you can be spiritually protected, and therefore, chaos could be happening all around you. A hurricane could be happening right outside. And you still maintain a certain level of peace within your being, a certain level of peace within your household. That's the realness. When I was a kid, I think the hurricane was called like Hurricane Ike, right? Out here in Houston. And I vividly remember, oh my God, it was just so, to me, and this is how I should have always known. This is how I should have always known that I was different from my family and everybody, because when a hurricane would come, I literally would be at the window looking out at it, right? Like people would be like, you shouldn't be by a window. You shouldn't be. Nah, my ass was at the window really looking at this chaos take place. And it was always so beautiful. Always so beautiful. But I guess I just knew that I was, spiritually protected in a sense. So I remember when I was a kid, Hurricane Ike, man, this hurricane came through and rocked Houston. And I remember just having to stay grounded. And I'm a kid at this time. I don't know how old, but I'm a kid. And I remember my family and I, we all sleep in the living room, right? We all sleeping in one room because there ain't no lights. It's dark as hell. I want to say lights was out for probably like 2 weeks then. We having to cook food on the grill. We have candles and shit. And it's so crazy because it was like everybody else was asleep during the hurricane and I'm just up. Like I didn't sleep at all during that time. I could not sleep at all. But so much spiritual stuff was happening in that. I was just like, wow, I was blown away. I think even during that time was one of those moments during Hurricane Ike was one of those moments where I had sleep paralysis, right? And I'm seeing everybody in my house sleep and I'm like up, but I can't move. And I'm just like, this shit is crazy, right? But it's so funny because I was never able to talk to people in my family about those experiences. I was never able to tell them how I just kind of knew what was happening spiritually with these hurricanes, right? I just never could, express that. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for being a part of my sacred spiritual community with whom I could have these very spiritual conversations with. I appreciate y'all, right? So when these natural disasters come, it's really a tower moment. It's a tower moment for that geographical location, right? And like I said, if you know anything about the tarot, if you know anything about divination, a tower moment is when you're just being pushed, right? When you're being thrown out of a building, it's when you're jumping off the cliff, it's when you literally lose all control. You have no control. But the beautiful thing about that is that when you hit the ground, the only place you can go is up. So sometimes, family, the tower moment is really symbolic of loss, right? A loss of security, a loss of safety, a loss of finances. It just feels like, the life as you known it has changed. But see, the beautiful thing is that the way you've been seeing life and the way that you've been living life is not at your fullest potential, right? You've probably been living life on such a small scale and you got to get thrown off the building, right? You got to get thrown out the building. You got to have that tower moment. You got to have that hurricane. You got to have that tornado to come and disrupt some shit in your life so that you are able to evolve, so that you are able to grow, and so that you're able to tap deeper into your purpose and into your divine state of being. Okay. A lot of the times when you're having a spiritual blockage, it's because you are not facing the challenge. You're not rising up to the occasion. You're not doing what it is that you need to do to become who you are destined to be. You are just coasting. You just coasting. You just taking, you just living one day at a time, not really challenging yourself to grow, not really challenging yourself to evolve. And so things like that have to happen. That spirit, that energy absolutely has to be cleansed, absolutely has to be purged, absolutely has to be purified, right? Man, I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened, and Louisiana and Texas, we next door neighbors. And so when Hurricane Katrina happened, so many people from New Orleans came to Houston, and it changed the city forever. It changed the city forever. It changed our schools forever. I literally remember all of the fights that were happening, because, people from New Orleans had came to Houston. I remember the chaos that had taken place during that time. Like nothing was the same after that. I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened, we had one of those fat ass desktop computers that got the butt on it and that is like a dial-up computer. I remember this vividly. And I remember as it was happening, my mom calling us to the computer and we were watching it. Like, I guess we were watching like some online news, or we were watching, I don't know how we were seeing it. We were seeing pictures or something. But I remember my mom just showing it to us and just being like, see, y'all got to be grateful for everything that you have. You got to be grateful for everything that you are. You just really have to be, you really have to have gratitude. And it was such a powerful thing to see. And it was a sobering thing to see. I believe I was in middle school at that time, and it was so surreal, seeing all of these people in that state of being, right? In that state of chaos, in that state of you have no control, you just have to move. It was such a surreal, magical thing. And yeah, that very next year, or a couple of months later, or the very next year, I ended up having a volleyball tournament in New Orleans. And that spirit there was so strong. It's like you don't even know. Like I was young. I was still a teenager, so I didn't even know how powerful the energy in New Orleans was. But when we went, and you're just driving around and you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff, and you're seeing these buildings still not fixed up. You're seeing all of this chaos. I mean, it was just supernatural. And so I think that's something that when it comes down to these natural disasters, you have to understand that this is a supernatural thing at play. It really, really is. And in order for you to not experience some of the brunt of that, right? In order for you to not experience some of the brunt of that, one, you have to surrender into your intuition and trust and know, and not be moving from a state of fear, but be prepared. Naturally, nature says, South Florida here, hurricane party over here. Wow. Yeah. Man, listen, when Hurricane Harvey happened, this was in like 2015. No, not 2015. This was 2017. 2017. Yeah, I believe I was pregnant with Carr. Hurricane Harvey happened in 2017. Dream and I like, nah, forget it. It ain't gonna be no real hurricane. They always talk about a hurricane. It ain't gonna be nothing serious. We go to some friends' house. We go to some of our friends' house, and it was so funny because I was thinking about this on Saturday. We go to some friends' house. Their names are Jasmine and Steve. We go to Jasmine and Steve's house. They're a couple just like us. They have a son who's the same age as our son. She had just had a baby girl, and I'm pregnant with Kara. So these two people, they were like our doppelgangers in a sense, right? They were almost an exact reflection of us, right? They were exact reflection of us, but different poles, let's just say that. So we go to their house. And we hanging out over there. We taking it for granted. We like, oh, this ain't about to be nothing for real. Let's just chill over their house. Mind you, they live about 20 minutes away from us. So something told us spiritually, all right, y'all need to go. While we driving, I want to say we driving for like, 5-10 minutes or something like that. We got about 5 more minutes to make it to our house. This hurricane hit. This hurricane hit our ass on that road because we thinking we partying. And yes, shout out to all the Florida people that's in the chat. I see y'all. South Florida. I love it. Thank y'all for being here. This is good. This is right on time for y'all. Thug it out. I'm telling you. Y'all can do this. Y'all, so Dream and I in the car, we got our 1-year-old son. He probably wasn't even 1-year-old yet. We got my big pregnant ass, and we got Dream, and I'm the driver. Y'all, when I tell y'all it was raining so hard, boy, we started calling on every single God, deity, Jesus, we started calling on everybody because in this crazy ass storm, Hurricane Harvey, right? Hurricane Harvey, it was nighttime. It was nighttime and it's raining hard as hell. And if y'all ever seen hurricane rain, it's not what y'all think it is. Like hurricane rain, the rain is literally moving, and it is moving fast, and it is moving at an angle, right? It's not like coming straight down like this, like the rain is coming sideways because that's how the wind is literally moving that rain. So we driving, it's nighttime, and we're driving over a bridge. I was definitely driving. You were not driving. Dreamwise, you were not driving. Absolutely not. I was absolutely driving. Absolutely driving. And we getting it. I mean, when I tell you we was going hard on them affirmations, we was having to go hard because we needed to make it home. And when we got home, absolutely, Shangoya Dark, yes, it moves the car. Yes, the car was moving. And we're on top of a bridge. We're driving over water as well. We were really risking it all. We were risking it all, taking these hurricanes, for granted. But we ended up making it home. Thank God. I had tailed closely behind the truck. There was this big old truck, this big old pickup truck. I had got kind of close up on it and just was like, man, lead the way, lead the way. And we ended up making it. And then it was so crazy because that hurricane ended up being way harder, way more challenging, way more surreal than we thought it was. But fortunately, during that hurricane, we made it home safely. I don't even think we lost lights. I don't even think we lost power, but a lot of people around us did. And, it was just there's so many blessings and concessions that come through these experiences. I mean, you really learn how strong you are. The last hurricane actually, this wasn't even a hurricane, but it was still a natural disaster, that ice storm that happened out here in Houston. We literally had lost power for days. We lost power for days, but Dream and I and our kids, we didn't have Kimmy at the time. We just had the two babies. We literally had to come together, tap in, you know what I mean, and tap into a deeper level of strength and connectedness and spirit in that. And so when it comes down to these, exactly, Sakur, when it comes down to these natural disasters, when it comes down to these storms, when it comes down to these tornadoes and all of this stuff like that, there's really a spiritual cleansing that is taking place. And if you could see it that way, you're going to receive a lot. But at the same time, you have to be willing to surrender a lot of the issues and a lot of the tension and the tightness and the issue that people have with these moments where spirit, the divine God, is coming through and shaking some shit up, is that you're so attached to your humanity. You're so attached to the house. You're so attached to the car. You're so attached to a certain way of living and being. And when you have that attachment and it's so thick and it's so tight, this is when these natural disasters come through and really disrupt your life. I mean, I remember, like, again, when Hurricane Harvey happened, I had just started a new job at this new school where I was the head volleyball coach and PE teacher. Head volleyball coach and PE teacher. And so I had just started working at the school. And then after Hurricane Harvey happened, I had one way of getting to the school. Man, I had to be driving all types of detours to get to this school because the hurricane was so bad. Road closures. I mean, everything was just shut down. So I literally had to leave home 2 hours early, to get to this school because I had to, take these twists and turns. But it was so beautiful because in that, I was able to find these. I mean, I saw so many beautiful homes. I discovered areas of Houston that I had never seen before if I would have been stuck in the set way that I do things. So when these natural disasters come, it's an opportunity for you to open up, for you to be renewed, right? That's why after the Tower card, the very next card that comes out in the tarot. So understand this, in tarot or tarot, however y'all say it, in these cards is a pathway, right? Or you could also think about this like, the tree of life. It's a story, it's a system, it's, it's a path that we are being given. And so after you have this moment of things being destroyed and dismantled and chaos happening, the very next card that comes out is the star card. And what the star symbolizes is faith. It symbolizes renewal. It symbolizes your aspirations. It symbolizes you moving forward and putting more time, more energy, more effort into yourself in nurturing you. So when these natural disasters happen, it's because a specific location and the people and the spirits and the soul of that location is being asked to renew their faith. Is being asked to build upon something else. Is being asked to nurture, to nourish, and develop a deeper self, a deeper self-care. Okay? When disaster strikes, when disaster strikes, you got to just let go. You just got to let go. And as human beings, we are so used to wanting to be in control. We are so used to wanting things to be the way that we think that it should be, based off of how we've been conditioned. All right. Last night I was on the phone with my grandmother. Something in my spirit, she just kept on coming up in so many different ways. And so we got on the phone. First of all, why old people be up so late? Do y'all notice that? Like my grandmother literally does not go to sleep until like around 11, 12 o'clock. My ass be in the bed 9:30. And so when I called her yesterday, I was like, I know she's going to be up because it just seems like old people. It seems like once you hit that 60, once you get retired and all of that, you up late. So I call her. I'm like, Grandma, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, I'm up. I'm like, you not going to bed? She's like, no, we don't go to bed till around like 11, 12 o'clock. I was like, damn, okay. Well, let's talk. And so, I just talked to her and we ended up being on the phone for about an hour. Such a beautiful, powerful conversation. And we started talking about, the hurricane that's happening in Florida. We started talking about, what's actually coming up, these seasons that are actually changing. And she was like, yeah, we're getting prepared. We're getting prepared. And I'm like, Grandma, what you talking about? What you getting prepared for? Because ain't no hurricane out this way. Mind you, she lives in Paris, Texas, which is, right next to Dallas. It's North Texas. And she was like, yeah, we just getting prepared. We just stay ready for everything. And I was just like, okay. She was like, yeah, we bought us a little heater just in case we lose electricity. We have a heater that we could use and we're ready. She was like, she even started telling me, yeah, we've been buying some stocks and bonds and things like that. Now, mind you, my grandmother has never talked to me about things like this. Right. I didn't know my grandmother knew anything about stocks. She knew anything about bonds, but the lesson and what I was receiving from her is that when you are prepared and chaos hits, you can surrender because you've done the work that you need to do to withhold that storm or to handle the storm. And I think a lot of times, family, the reason why we resist challenges is because we're not prepared. We're not prepared. Think about that. Think about that. My grandmother was like, yeah, we know things are going to be happening soon. And she telling me shit because I'm not thinking about natural disasters and famine. My grandmother literally said out her mouth, she was like, yeah, y'all need to be preparing for a famine. I ain't thinking about that. I'm not trying to be thinking about no famine and all of that. But, we still going to be stocking up on food and doing all of those things like that because when you are prepared, you can be in peace. Right? When you are prepared, you can be in peace. And so we got to be prepared for everything. You got to be prepared for absolutely everything as much as you can. As much as you can be prepared. Some things happen spontaneously. Some things happen erratically. But this is why it's so important, family, to keep growing, to keep expanding, and to keep challenging yourself because we are always being shown what's to come. We are always being shown what's to come. And that's what led me here today. That's what actually led me here today. So last night, I had a dream. That Dream and I were going to be going to Miami. And we're getting in the car and, we got our bags packed. We're headed to the airport. And for some reason, we get stopped, right? We get stopped and they're like, no, you can't go to Miami. There's a storm happening. So, of course, and I wasn't even, and here's the thing, I was not even thinking about the storm that's actually taking place in Florida right now. That wasn't even on my mind. I hadn't been reading about it, hadn't been thinking about it. It has not been in my scope this entire time. But when I had that dream last night, I was like, okay, well, let me look into this. But a part of the lesson that I learned in that is that we all have a destination that we got to get to, right? We think about Miami. Now, I don't know about y'all South Florida people, but people that don't live in Florida, we think about Miami. Okay, that's fun. That's drinks. That's nakedness. That's the beach. That's just, living this life, right? That's what we think. And so some may be thinking that a trip to Miami is luxurious in a sense. A trip to Miami is exciting. A trip to Miami is, a good thing. And it is, right? But if you don't deal with the storms that are in your life, you can't even get to that destination, right? If you don't deal, I know, let me, people that's over here on IG, let me put this phone on Do Not Disturb. I need to remember that all the time. Right? So it's like, if you don't deal with the storm, if you don't let them storms pass, if you don't face these challenges, if you don't overcome, then you can't even get to the destination. That's the real spiritual meaning. That's the real spiritual essence that I was receiving. We all got things that we want to do. We all got places that we're trying to get to, but we don't deal with the challenges and with the thoughts and with the emotions and with the actions that are standing in the way of us getting to that destination. We don't even do that. We just be waiting for it to happen, waiting for something to happen, waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting for the storm to get here, or waiting for the chaos to happen, waiting for the tower moment, just waiting for something to happen, instead of you giving yourself the challenges and you preparing yourself right now so that when things do happen, you already know what to do. And we be knowing what the hell to do. My grandmother was like, yeah, we stacking up on food. We got a heater. We ready for anything. That's what my grandmother's telling me. She was like, we ready for anything. We're prepared for anything. And I got to take that to heart. Because that was last night. And then I had the dream last night of me and Dream trying to go to Miami. And as we're en route to the airport to go, we're like, no, y'all can't go to Miami because there's a storm. So that's literally and figuratively. Literally, we know in Florida, there's a storm happening right now. But spiritually, it's like, no, you have to deal with the storm that is within in order for you to get to your destination, in order for you to get to that luxury, in order for you to get to that experience, in order for you to get to that joy. Does that make sense, family? And it's crazy because I've had 2 dreams like that over the last few days. Another dream that I had was with my homegirl. We were just overcoming shit together. Like, we had to go through water, right? We had to go through like a snowstorm. We were going through different challenges together. We were overcoming different things together. And Spirit is just always like, stop fighting the current. We be fighting the challenges. We be fighting, and Spirit is like, just surrender. When you surrender, you will be given all of the information, all of the downloads that you need to actually overcome what is being presented in your life. But you be fighting. And Spirit, in this moment right now, Spirit is like, don't fight the cleansing. Don't fight the purification. Don't fight the growth. Don't fight the transformation, no matter how it has to come. Sometimes the transformation comes through a disagreement in your household or an argument. Sometimes the transformation comes through losing your job or losing a sense of security, right? Sometimes that's how the shit has to come. So we got to get it out of our minds that things have to go a specific way, and understand that sometimes your challenges, your growth, your transformation, your healing, and you getting to the next level is going to come through a hurricane. It's going to come through a tornado. It's going to come through a tsunami. Okay? I like that. I am infinite being. I like that. I am infinite being said, we was never taught how to surrender, so I don't know what it looks like. Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. Okay. So surrendering looks like embracing the messages and the intuitive knowings that are being presented to you, right? Surrendering looks like, okay, if you're having a certain feeling, right? You're having a certain thought that keeps coming up in your mind. Surrendering looks like accepting that it's there. See, a lot of times, even when we have certain emotions, we want to fight those emotions. We want to fight how we feel. We want to deny how we feel. We want to resist how we feel, right? Because maybe we've been taught that it's not okay to have certain emotions. Maybe we've been taught if you have this certain emotion or you have this certain thought, it makes you weak. It makes you bad. It means that you're unhealed, right? So a lot of times we have these thoughts and we judge ourselves, or we have these emotions and we judge ourselves for it and we resist it. Surrenderance looks like, okay, you know what? I'm bored right now. Surrenderance look like, you know what? I'm angry right now. It is what it is. Surrenderance look like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling some type of way right now. And instead of me trying to force myself to be high vibrational, I'm going to surrender it to the feeling, allow myself to be present with it, and then move forward. Dream says, don't be afraid of the dark times. See, we be upset about the argument or the disagreement in your household. You be mad about that. I know sometimes I do. I be having to learn to be like, okay, you know what? This is where we're at. This is what we're doing. Okay, let's do it. You know? Sometimes surrendering looks like acceptance, right? It looks like acknowledging and accepting what is actually happening in front of you. Surrendering looks like, okay, taking a step back and not always trying to fix something. See, a lot of times, family, we get so caught up in this masculine energy and we're always trying to fix. And maybe we just need to take a step back and let things fix itself. Right? Let things fix itself. Let the storm do what it's going to do. And trust what is actually happening. Trust the moment that you are in. Okay? You know, a lot of times, specifically people of color, we're taught that we have to make things happen all the time. I got to make this happen. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to force a situation. And we don't learn and we don't know that there's power in that feminine energy. There's power in just being receptive to whatever the lesson actually is. There's power in just allowing whatever downloads, whatever transformation, whatever comes about. There's power in that. You know, my grandmother last night was just like, she was like, I'm so proud of you, Desi, because we can have these conversations. Because we can have these conversations. We can be open-minded. We can agree to disagree, even though it may not, we don't have to say, okay, let's agree to disagree, but it just happens like that. Right? Acceptance and surrender is not like trying to fight or force the issue. Like, it's not trying to make whatever your point of view is be the thing, right? Surrendering control and really just trusting, man. Oh, man. Listen, the last time there was something happening, a storm or something was happening out here in Houston, and Dream, being his masculine energy, come on, man, we got to go in a room that don't have no windows, and we got to get as far away from the windows as possible. And first of all, y'all, in Houston, we don't have no basements, in Houston. There are no basements in Houston because the way this place is situated, we flood and things like that. So having basements is not happening here, right? So Dream, being in his masculine energy, is like, no, we got to do this. We got to go in this closet and we got to do this and do that. But my feminine intuition is just like, ain't no hurricane, ain't no tornado, ain't nothing about to hit this house. We are good. We can actually go to sleep. But at the same time, I had to surrender to him being that masculine, him being that leader type energy. I had to just surrender, even though I knew within my spirit, right? And that's the thing. Surrendering means you listen to your spirit and you do not allow your egoic mind to get you into that state of fear, right? So yes, we were receiving notifications on our phone that was saying, tornado watch and things like that. But my spirit had already told me, like, no, y'all are fine. Just get some rest, go to sleep. You're good. My spirit had already told me that intuitively. But Dream was like, no, let's go in this closet, or let's go in this bathroom. Let's just get as far away from these windows as possible. And I was just like, okay, you know what? Let's go. And so I sat in there with him, with the kids. And I'm like, how long you want to be in here? Because I'm telling you, my intuition, I have no anxiety right now. I am in such a state of peace right now. Exactly like Love and B said. Love and B says, make peace with it. You're not what you're experiencing. You have the power to refocus and change your experience. And that was it. My spirit was so at peace. I knew that we could rest. I knew that we were fine, regardless of what the phone, regardless of the notifications that they were giving. I knew that we were fine. So at the same time, I had to surrender to him in that masculine role. But after we stayed in the bathroom for like an hour, I was like, babe, let's go to bed. Finally, he had to surrender to me and in that divine feminine essence and just be like, all right, come on, let's go to bed. And so us and our kids, we all slept in the same bed and we were all fine. Peace, Marge. Hey, sis. And we were fine. So family, these natural disasters, it really just be a spiritual message of cleansing and purification that is actually required of you in any given moment. You have to understand that things that are happening on this earth is always going to be a reflection of the heart, right? Things that are happening on this earth, things that are happening on this planet are always a reflection of what is happening at the heart, right? Because the earth is essentially just a big old heart, right? That's why all the same letters that are in earth are in heart, right? All you got to do is move the H from the back and put it at the front and you get heart. And so when hurricanes are happening and natural disasters and tornadoes and tsunamis or whatever, you're being forced to look at what is in your heart, because a lot of the time, some of the things that are in our heart is not even based on what is in alignment with our higher selves, right? If everything in your heart was in alignment with what was in the higher self, the energy of the Libra energy wouldn't even exist. Y'all think about it. We are in Libra energy. We are in Libra energy, meaning the scale, meaning my eye, meaning is your heart as light as a feather? So there are people in these specific geographic regions who have heavy hearts, who have hearts that are full of hate and chaos and things like that. And so these natural disasters happen to purify the heart, to purify the earth. All right. So you have to understand that what is being asked of us in these moments is that we make radical change. Right. And so all my people who are in South Florida right now, I want to ask y'all let me know in the chat, what radical change do you feel is being asked of you in this moment? Right? What radical change is being asked of you in this moment? Peace, Iman. Hey, sis. Right? That's the real question right now. Family, if you are experiencing a spiritual blockage, and the spiritual blockage comes by, it could be a delay, right? You could have expected something to happen at a specific time and it doesn't happen. You got a manifestation that you've been working on, but for some reason it just is not coming to pass. All of these different things are a sign of a spiritual blockage, right? Maybe there's a detour. Maybe you keep on getting turned around. Maybe you think you're going in one direction and it ends up being something else, right? Whatever that energy is, this is how spiritual blockages manifest. Spiritual blockages manifest as confusion, right? Spiritual blockages manifest as confusion, as detours, as delays, as things just not happening the way that you intended, the way that you set out for them to happen. And a lot of times when that's happening, family, you have to ask yourself, what radical change, right? What radical change am I being asked to make, but I'm resisting it and therefore I'm being blocked? What movement is being asked of me and I'm fighting this movement, I'm resisting this movement, and therefore I'm experiencing this tower moment. I'm experiencing this hurricane, this tornado, this earthquake. See, when you look at your life, when you look at yourself, when you look within you and you make those radical changes and you make those shifts and you do what it is that you need to do, you don't got to worry about a natural disaster because you're doing what it is that you need to do. You're listening to that call, even though it may be challenging. It may be hard as hell to embrace and embody this new state of being that your higher self is calling forth from you. It may be challenging because it's new. It's uncomfortable. You haven't done it before. Okay? It's different because you're so comfortable being a certain type of way, being a certain type of person. But when you refuse that change, when you don't embrace and embody this new earth that is asking to be birthed from you, right? This is when you get a hurricane in your own life. This is when a tornado hits your house. This is when your house get flooded, your car get flooded, right? This is when, you are without power for days and days and days and days and days. This is when you have the earthquake and your whole life is shaken up. So I keep on telling y'all, family, the energy that we are in right now is asking us to really open ourselves up to change and becoming a new person. And simple things like your eating habits, like I Am Infinite Being said over here on YouTube. Same as Sakura. Your eating habits. Sometimes people think that is such a minute thing, which reminds me, that's something that me and my grandma were talking about yesterday. Last night, me and my grandma on the phone, we were on the phone from like 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. We literally talked for an hour last night. And we were talking, and she asked me, she said, she's so funny. She said multiple things. She said, have you found a job? It's one of the things that she asked me. I said, Grandma, I am pursuing my purpose, Grandma. I'm not going back to no job. She said, okay, well, I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be prepared. And I get it. She's asking that because she's being fed with the rhetoric from the news of recession and economy crashing. And so I get 100% why she is asking me that. But I told her, no, Grandma, I am embodying this change. I'm embodying this new state of being. It's challenging. It's uncomfortable. I don't have every single answer, but I'm walking in it. And I had to tell her, Grandma, like literally, even if I wanted to get a job, my spirit is like, no, you're not doing that. It's not happening. And I got to just trust that. I got to trust that, Grandma. Then she said, well, how are you doing with your eating? Because I told her for the last couple of months, I haven't been eating any meat, no fish, no animal products at all for the since the end of June. So since July, I have not eaten anything that is animal products, right? No dairy, no fish, no nothing like that. And she's like, well, how's that going? I'm like, it's going great, Grandma. Well, are the kids still eating fish and stuff? No, they're not eating none of that because I don't cook it. Well, how are they taking it? Yeah, Grandma, they doing great with it. It doesn't bother them not one bit. Okay. Oh, what about your husband? I'm like, yeah, he fine. He making it happen. It's good. She was like, oh, well, that's good. I said, well, what about your eating habits, Grandma? How is your eating habits going? She like, yeah, Grandma, it's going good. It's going good. My eating habits are going good. I'm like, good, Grandma. I'm glad. I'm glad that you eating a new way and it's creating a difference in your life because you decided to embrace the radical change. You decided that you were going to do something different. My grandma has been eating well recently. She's been eating very well. She went to the doctor sometime this week and she was like, when she went to the doctor was like, you're good. Don't come back unless you need to. I don't have to, set up another appointment for you. I don't have to send you to nobody else. You're good. I was like, Grandma, yes. You see what making changes does for you? She was like, yeah, you're right. And then at the end of the conversation, she was just like, I'm so glad that you and I can have these open-minded conversations. I know we don't always agree on the same things, but I'm just glad that we can do it. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Grandma. We're going to keep going. Now, in her mind, she still has her beliefs. She still thinks that I probably should get a job. I probably should feed my kids some meat. She probably thinks that. But the point is, family, is that you are being asked to make radical change. And I'm not saying that the radical change comes from quitting your job. I'm not saying that it comes from being a vegan. I don't know what your radical change is. Only you do. What I do know is that when you don't take the radical change, this is when natural disasters happen in your space. Right? Something my grandma said last night that was so clever. She was like, yeah, we're in our own world. She was like, yeah, we're just in our own world. I was like, you are so right, Grandma. I said, you are so right. We are all in our own world. We are all in our own universe, and we got to keep pushing, keep moving, no matter what the external world is saying. It doesn't matter what, the news is saying, what these other people are saying. You are in your own world, and within your own world, you're being asked to do some stuff. You're being asked to make some moves, make some changes, do something radical. I'm telling you, here's something radical that I'm about to start doing for y'all. First of all, I want to say hey to Estella. Hey, Estella Mack. Long time no see, sis. I want to know how you're doing, because it's been a long time since I've seen you, and I'm very interested in how you are doing, sis. I hope you are well. Shout out to you, Iman, for quitting your job in August. Sis, you found your purpose. You've been found it. You've been doing it, but you are so gifted and so talented. And so it's time for you to really spread your wings and pursue that which you love and keep doing that healing work. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're doing that. It's so beautiful. And Dream, your mama think you worship the devil because you be saying devilish things. His mama was just over here the other day, and he was saying stuff to her. I'm like, why are you saying that to her? Why are you saying that to her? He will say stuff like, yeah, ma, it's the devil. The devil made me do it. He say stuff like that, but he's only doing that. At the end of the day, he's triggering her for sure, but it's not in a bad way. Sometimes, family, when you are being triggered, it's so that you rise above. It's so that you separate from the ways that you've indoctrinated yourself, from the belief that you've been holding on to, and so that you grow. Like when I tell my grandma, no, grandma, I'm not going back to work. I'm not going back to a job. That probably triggers the hell out of her. She probably like clenches up and is just like, ugh. She probably clenches up a little bit when she hears me say that, but it triggers her to know that there's another way. There's a greater way, right? There's a greater way. And y'all, like, if your spirit has been telling you stuff, I'm here right now to give you the understanding that you need to move with it. You have to move with it, right? Again, right? Like I Am Infinite Being says he's being told that he needs to pursue his business and put that over his 9-to-5. Yeah, you may need to do that. That may not mean that you need to quit right now, though. I am not telling you that. I'm not going to tell any one of y'all to just quit your job, because let me tell y'all something. This entrepreneurial ventureship, it's a whole bunch of trial and error. It's a whole bunch of wins and it's a whole bunch of losses. And if you don't have the proper foundation and you just jump out, baby, that's a tower moment ready to happen. So if you are a person and you're being called to pursue your purpose and focus on your business, great, do that. But you need to build a foundation first. You need to build a foundation first. You need to know the direction that you are going in, right? You need to build a foundation and understand where you are going. You need to have a vision for yourself, and you need to start walking that path. You got to start walking that path. You got to start walking that path. And Diana Sakura, if your stomach be hurting and everything, you damn sure know you need to change the way that you're eating. Right? Exactly. Hills and Gloss on Instagram. Preparation. That's the whole thing that I'm telling y'all. When it comes down to when it comes down to even these natural disasters, you must be prepared for the shift. You must be prepared for the shift. You must be prepared for the transformation. You have to get ready. right? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that is a very spiritual thing. That is a very, very spiritual thing, right? Because what's happening when these shifts happen, this is that Ganesha energy. This is the opening of the way. Where's that Ganesha spray? Look, this is that Ganesha energy. This is the opening of the way. Sometimes that opening of the way is going to come through chaos. Sometimes the opening of the way is going to come through a hurricane, a tornado, an earthquake, quitting your job, being fired from your job. Let's just call it what it is. Quitting your job, being fired from your job, losing a relationship, something happening within the family, an argument with your husband or wife, an argument with your kids. Sometimes the chaos is going to come, or the transformation is going to come in ways that are unpleasant. Nobody said everything had to come, your growth had to come from peaches and cream. That's not the reality of what this is. Okay. My grandma said she went to the post office this week and she said she wanted to stop using. She became a Jehovah's Witness a couple of years ago. Let's just say that. She became a Jehovah's Witness a couple of years ago. And it's so crazy because my entire childhood, my grandmother had no spiritual, she had no spiritual basis, no spiritual grounding. Like my grandma did not go to church. She did not talk about spirituality. And it's so funny because last night she said that to me. She was just like, yeah, when y'all were coming up, I wasn't into no form of spirituality at all. This is what she said to me. I was like, yeah, you're right, Grandma. Like whenever we came to your house, we knew we wasn't going to no church. We knew we wasn't doing nothing like that. Yes, appreciate the love, Roku. I appreciate that. But we knew we weren't doing anything like that. But now that she became a Jehovah's Witness, she don't deal with nothing political. She don't deal with nothing, no birthdays, nothing, no humanity, nothing like that. And so she was like, she went to the post office and she had the lady had at first given her some stickers that were, I guess, were like a Democratic type sticker. It was like a flag or something. And she was like, can you please give me some other stickers? Like, I really don't want stickers that have a United States of America flag on it. I'm just not there. And so the lady's going through all of these stickers and she comes up on a sticker that's an elephant. And my grandma says that one, right? My grandma says that's the one right there. And she explains to the post office lady how much she loves elephants. Now, mind you, I don't know why in the hell my grandma is telling me this, right? Nothing in our conversation has led up to her telling me that she went to the post office the other day, and because she doesn't deal in politics no more, she don't want the American flag stamps. She wants something different, and it's elephants. And it's elephants. And her and the lady get into a whole conversation about why they love elephants and so on and so forth. And they end up coming up to this, agreement that they're going to go to an elephant sanctuary that's in like Oklahoma. It's an elephant sanctuary where you get to like drive on the car and see all of these elephants doing their best thing or whatever. Elephants. And I'm like, okay, Spirit, I'm hearing you because that's so random, but that's so spiritual that she's saying that. Ganesha. Spiritual cleansing right now, spiritual purification. Things are opening up right now. And that does not mean that it's always going to be pleasant. Sometimes it's going to be challenging. Sometimes it's going to feel like your back is up against the wall. Sometimes it's going to feel like a fight. But that's where radical change and transformation actually comes from. And as you take a step towards that change and transformation, this is how things open up for you. And yes, absolutely. My grandmother is Ganesha. It's so freaking spiritual. I cannot even play with y'all. If I wasn't live on Instagram right now, I will show y'all how all of this shit has just been aligning this week. So I'm in a coaching session with a young lady. And some way, somehow, we started talking about my midwife who made the transition in 2021 on Easter. She made the transition on 2021 on Easter. And a part of her background was she was our midwife, of course. She had 4 children. And before she died, 2 of her 4 children had died, right? One died from cancer. One died from suicide. Thank you, Afua. I always have to take a moment and say thank you whenever I'm sharing her story. because her story is one of very, very deep healing, very deep healing, very deep transformation. Is one of forgiveness. And I always have to just take a moment and say thank you for the ability to share her story, because I tell you, I always can sense her energy whenever I'm telling her story. But the other day in a coaching client, I was talking to my client, and my client was in her feelings. She was having some feelings. She was having, a certain experience that she was going through. And I just told her, I was like, we were talking about her mother. Her mother made the transition when she was a child. And I was telling her, you can talk to your ancestors. You can talk to them right now. Like just because they're not here in the physical, and it doesn't matter how long they've been gone, you can have a conversation with them. And I was just telling her that, and I was telling her, like, my midwife, I was like, my midwife just keeps coming through. Like, I just keep thinking about her. I keep feeling her energy. I was in a spiritual bath, and I was just asking her for help. Like, my intuition just knew to talk to her, right? Because that's just what I felt. That's just what I trusted. So freaking divine how this works. And so, like, even last week, I think I brought up my midwife in the videos. I brought up her energy because she's just present right now. And so I talked to my coaching client about her. This was on Sunday. I talked to my coaching client about her, and we're doing that. And then I come downstairs. From the coaching client, and I get on Instagram. See, people be thinking, being on your phone and being on technology is a problem, but spirit comes through in so many different forms. Spirit comes through in so many different forms. You cannot limit how your spiritual message is going to come through. It may come through just on Instagram and you don't even know. All right. You don't even realize it. But I come down, I sit on the couch, and I go to Instagram, and I click on my midwife's, her midwifery business is called The Birthing Place. And even though she's made the transition, they're still running business. They are still catering to women and delivering babies. So I click on her story. I didn't even do this consciously. It just happened. I clicked on her story, and I see a picture of my grandmother, who I just got off the phone with yesterday. This happened on Sunday. I see a picture of my grandmother and my midwife on a picture. Listen to me. I get off the call on Sunday with my client, and I tell her, your ancestors are always coming through. You can have a conversation with them. They can help you right now in the moment. Listen to what they're saying, right? I get off telling her that. I go downstairs, I sit on the couch because I just finished a coaching session, so now I'm ready to relax. I get on Instagram, and the very first thing I see is my grandmother and my midwife on a picture together. And Dream knows, he was sitting on the couch. I said, "Oh shit!" Like I just kind of flew back in my chair. Because I was so shocked. I was like, "Oh shit, that's my grandma." And I click on the video. This is so freaking spiritual. Thank you to both of these beautiful, powerful women. You got Ganesha. That is my grandmother. My grandmother is the Ganesha energy. If anybody who knows my grandmother knows she loves elephants. She has 1,000 different elephants in her house. In the form of pictures and figurines and statues and all of that. She has an affinity for elephants, and she's not a Delta. Let's just throw that out there. And then my midwife, who is the goddess Ishtar, she's a midwife. She's delivered over 1,000 babies. So you got my grandmother, who has 1,000 elephants, who she will tell you this. She will tell you, I have like over 1,000 different things that are elephants, just little trinkets like everywhere. Right? And then my midwife, who has delivered over 1,000 babies. So you got Ishtar and you got Ganesha coming together, one picture. And I fly out of my chair, and Dream is like, "Oh no, you got to call your grandma. I don't know what that's about. That's spiritual. I don't know what that's about." So, and it's so funny. I open up the story because, when people, what they posted was a post that they made a story. So when you click on that and you go to the actual post, you can see the whole thing. So I go and I see the whole thing, and my midwife is dancing in the video. My midwife is dancing in the video, And my grandmother is just looking at her. My grandma's just looking at her in amazement because my midwife is so radical. She's so radical. She's so different. She's so bold, right? She lives her life and lived her life from such a place of conviction to where it's just like, I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to do what I need to do, how I feel like I need to do it. She lives from such conviction. So much so, she died of cancer. But beyond cancer, she died from not wanting to forgive. That's the real cause of death. The real cause of death, the cancer was just a symptom of her heart being heavy. That's it. And what did I just say earlier? The heart is the earth. Earth is the heart. And right now, you are being asked to cleanse and purge your heart to make space, Ganesha, to clear the way for your transformation, for your healing, for your upliftment, for you to become who you are meant to be. My midwife suffered a lot of heartbreak and heartache in the realm of love. In the realm of love. And you're right, babe. She's absolutely free. And she channels through me this message of letting your heart be light and not holding on to this shit. That was the message from my grandmother last night too. Like, even when adversity and challenges show up in your life, don't hold on to the shit. It's just not worth it. If a hurricane hits your house, the house is replaceable because hopefully you got insurance. Hopefully you've prepared. You got insurance. And so when you really let your heart be light, you stop seeing it as I've lost something and you start seeing it as I've gained something. That hurricane hits your house and you got insurance, they building you a whole new house. Yes, you may have to go and live in a hotel for a few months. Maybe you got to lease out an apartment or lease out a house for a year or two until you get that new house. But best believe something new is being birthed from that experience. Something new is being birthed from that chaos. You better believe it because you've prepared and you've surrendered and you've let go of control and you've kept your heart light. So only something better can come from this experience. Only something better can come through this challenge, but you have to let your heart be light and you got to open up the way. You got to allow for the space for that to happen. But so many people are so grounded and they're so connected to all of their earthly possessions, to their ego. You're so connected to even how you think life should be and what you think everything is. And when you're so connected in that way, you do not allow the space for you to grow. And so my grandmother and my midwife coming together so spiritually, I'm so grateful. Because it's a true testament to, you know, you don't have to hold on to things. Even the things that you thought were like so heavy, were so real, were so intense. You don't even have to hold on to that shit. Like, you thought that it had to be a specific way. Like, I'm just like, you know what? It doesn't. It doesn't have to be the way that I think it should be. It does not have to be exactly how I like. It just doesn't. Like, it's okay. And you know what? It's such a powerful thing to understand that two truths can coexist. Two truths can coexist at the same time. Like, a true genius, which I am, a true genius can understand that two things can exist at the same time. It really can. And so it's just like, my midwife is like the greatest for me. She's like the greatest example of when you let your heart be light and you let things flow. And the video is so powerful. Listen, let me say this. I'm going to end over here. Shout out to all of y'all who are over here on Instagram. I'm going to end it here because I want to show the video, and the video's on Instagram. So for those of you who are on Instagram, when I get off of here, click the link in my bio. It's the link tree. Scroll and it's going to say YouTube. Join me on YouTube, please, because I'm going to show the family this video and how beautiful it is and how magical it is to observe, right? So peace over here on Instagram. Join me on YouTube. Just click the link in my bio and you'll see the link that says YouTube. Click that and then you can join. Peace. And I'm doing that. I'm going to just go ahead and share this. Let me just share it. I don't care about a caption. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share that because I really want y'all to see this. See how magical this was. You know what I mean? See how magical this was, because it's so powerful. You got this, like, literally that Ganesha energy. That Ganesha energy is just observing. The Ganesha energy is just right on the precipice. It's just right there, ready to jump in. It's right there. It's right there. Your freedom, right? Your freedom, you being set free, you being renewed, you being cleansed. It's right there. Now I'm going to have to go find the post. It's right there, family. It's right there. But because you aren't allowing yourself to be free, right? Because you're not allowing yourself to be free, you can't even receive it. That's the thing. Okay? I'm about to show y'all my midwife. She is just absolutely gorgeous. I tell you, man, life is just so, absolutely precious. I wonder if they still got our pictures on they thing. And yes, it's 222. Y'all put those 222s in the chat. Because that is divine. Because what is 222? 222 is the 6. What is the 6? Balance. The balance of masculine and feminine energy, heart chakra. The 6 is the earth. Do y'all know that? The 6 is the earth. The 6 is the earth. And that's okay. That's okay. We did our due. We did what we needed to do with our midwife. So powerful. 222. The 6 is the earth, y'all. Like, the breakthroughs are really available to us, but we got to open up the space for that. We got to really open up the space to allow. And the way that you open up the space is by opening up your heart. I really want to find this post for y'all because it's so freaking divine. Let me read what some of y'all are saying. Eileen says, yeah, that's true. You must release. That energy will fester and turn into disease. Same thing happened to my ex at 42 years old. Very healthy and fit. Vegetarian for 15 years. He won't let it go. Man, I'm telling you, this is intense. It's intense. And I'm so grateful for my midwife because she literally is a great representation of that. But she's all, look at this, babe. Look, they got us on the page. Look at us. Wait, let me see if it's going to focus. Let me see. Focus, baby. Look at our family. That's on her page. That is too funny. Let me see what she says. Look at this beautiful birthing place family. Look at us, y'all. This was maybe this was 2 Thanksgivings ago on their page. Wow. We were having a Friendsgiving. That's so powerful. Love AMB says, holding on to pain brings suffering and grief. I decided I'm tired of suffering and grieving. Got it. Let me see what this peace and clarity feels like. Absolutely. It's such a gift, man. I'm telling you, when you learn to surrender and let go, you are gifted with so much more. You are gifted with so much more than you could even fathom. Let's see what Margaret says. Margaret says, the energy of release has been so real in this season. And I know I'm making space for what is for me right now. Absolutely. I had posted in the Sacred Sister Circle yesterday, like, the longer you hold on to stuff that no longer serves you, the more you are postponing the things that do. The longer you hold on to things that no longer serve you, the longer you are postponing the things that do serve you. That's absolute magic. That is absolutely magical. I'm really trying to see how can I find this video, because y'all, when I tell y'all, it shocked the hell out of me seeing it. It really shocked the hell out of me seeing this specific video of my grandmother, who only went to the birthing place one time. And let me tell y'all, I brought my grandmother to the birthing place because that go me and Afua. That go us right there. That's us. Look at us. Me and my baby. And I tell y'all, she lives on. She absolutely lives on. And you know what? She was the person, she was the ancestor that came to me. None of my other ancestors ever did this. None of my other ancestors ever did what she did. This is what she did that let me know, oh, okay, I get it. All I got to do is ask. She had, I want to say the week after she passed away. And this was when I realized, like, oh shit, like I understand I have some understanding going on, right? I have some understanding going on. When she came to me, it was when a part of me really realizing, like, sometimes you don't know exactly, the power that you have in a sense. Sometimes you may take it for granted. And that's what I kind of was doing a lot, right? A lot. I was taking for granted who I am and what I am capable of, right? I was really kind of like, yeah, okay, I say things and I do things, but I don't really know how real it is or how important it is. I told y'all about this before. In the past, I, questioned if people really understand the message that I give. And not only do you understand it, but do you apply it, right? I had said that. I'm getting close to the video because this is the time right here. Right? So about a week after she passed away, she came in my dreams. And she literally said, if you need anything, just ask. She literally said that in the dream. In my dreams, she literally said, now telepathically, because y'all know ancestors, when they come in the dream, they not necessarily move in their mouth, right? They not necessarily move in their mouth. It's just a knowing. You just know that they're communicating to you. It's telepathic. It's intuitive. It's internal. She literally said to me, literally, if you need anything, just ask. And that was one of the realest things. I was just like, damn, that's how it is. And so a lot of times, family, you are needing guidance. You are needing understanding. You are needing, you're needing support. But you don't open your mouth and ask. You don't feel like you can literally ask your ancestors to give you guidance. I know I do. I'd be like, look, I need help. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Help me, please. Do y'all ever do that with y'all ancestors? Let me know. Let me know if y'all ever do that. If you ever just have the capacity to say, help me. See, a lot of times, family, we don't even like to ask for help. We don't know how to ask for help. We don't like receiving help. We really feel like we have to do everything on our own. And that was a part of my ancestor Afua. Just strong-willed, strong-minded, don't want no help, want to do everything by herself. And she knew the type of work that I was in. Like when she told us that she was sick, she knows that having spiritual conversations about healing and transformation, she knows that I love that. She knows that I enjoy that. But was she ever asked to sit down and talk? No. Because she held on to her conviction. She held on to, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And that's one of the things that I'm telling y'all not to do. Okay? You have to let go of some of the identification that you are making with some of your life, right? With some of your thoughts, with some of your states of being. You got to be willing to let some of that stuff go. Stop saying, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. This is the end all be all. I eat like this, I think like this, I walk like this, I talk like this. A part of the lesson is creating some of the space, Ganesha, to become somebody else. Right? If you stay who you are being right now, you're going to keep on being who you've been. And if you keep being who you've been, you're not going to manifest what it is that you want. Therefore, you experience a spiritual blockage and you're being forced into a tower moment. All of these people message me, yeah, I think I'm in a tower moment. I think I'm having a tower moment. This is a tower moment for me. And I'm like, well, what changes have you been, that you are being asked to make, but you're refusing to do it for whatever reason? Because that's why tower moments happen. You got to get pushed off the ledge, right? There's a song by this group called Tank and the Bangers that's called God Push Me, right? It's called God Push Me. And sometimes I've even had to ask for that. I've had to ask God, the divine source, my higher self, to just push me off the edge because it can be scary. We got to be real about that. Right? We got to be real about how sometimes there is fear when it comes down to, oh, I found it. Look at this. I found it. Look at this. I found it. This is my grandma right here. Look at that. Let me see. That's my midwife. You see my grandma looking? Look at that. My grandma is like confused. My grandma is like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Wow. My grandma has never seen a woman live so boldly, so radically. I got to save that post. Wow. My grandma is like, what is this? And she wearing the yellow. Yes, Sakura. Oroku. And she wearing the yellow. So true. So true. And y'all, this is amazing. This is from May 18, 2019. Let me see what that equal up to. Wow, that's so amazing. Like 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, 18, 9, 5. Wow, I'm so glad I found that. 5, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Wow, that's the 8. That's an 8. Wow. That's funny. That goes back to this star card. Because Spirit be coming through. Let me tell y'all, on Patreon, I did an energy reading. Because I do an energy reading for us every week, right? I do energy reading for us every week. If Spirit, especially if Spirit is like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, right? And so when I did the energy reading, Spirit was like, the star card came out. I'm about to show y'all the star card in the tarot. Y'all let me know in the chat what y'all know about the star card. What do y'all know about this card right here? Spirit be coming through. All I can do is feel gratitude and just have trust and faith. What y'all know about this card right here? Y'all let me know what y'all know. I know y'all not new to this. Y'all true to this. What y'all know about this star card? I'm telling y'all, this is confirmation. This is confirmation. What y'all know about the star card? Y'all let me know in the chat. Y'all let me know. Wow. What y'all know about the star card? Yeah. I'm glad you liked it, Marge. Well, first thing that you need to know, man, y'all, I can't make this shit up. The first thing that you need to know is that the star card equals an 8. So that's why I'm telling y'all it's so spiritual that video that I just showed y'all of my midwife and my grandma that I saw on Sunday, I'm just telling y'all how spirit works, right? How spirit comes together, how spirit connects the dots, right? That the day that video was posted, even though they shared it on Sunday, but the original post date was May, right? Was May, what did I say? Was May 19th or something like that, 2019. Powerful. That day equals an 8. When I pulled the energy reading for Patreon, the star card came out. Not only that, every Tuesday, I try to do it every Tuesday. Every Tuesday on Patreon, I do a Tarot Tuesday where I go through the major arcana. I'm just going in order, right? I go through the major arcana in order and I post about a specific card. The card for this Tuesday, for yesterday, was also the star card. So let me say this again. Let me make sure you understand. So in my schedule for doing Tarot Tuesday on Patreon was the star card, right? Meaning I did not plan that. I did not structure that in the natural progression of the cards. The card for this Tuesday was the star card. When I did a reading for Patreon, which I do on Sundays, the star card and the gratitude card came out. And then when I just looked at the date for what was posted from my grandmother and my midwife, it came down to an 8, which is the star card. So what am I saying to you? First thing you need to know is that in tarot, the star card comes right behind the tower card. All of y'all have heard about the tower moment or the dark night of the soul. Most of the time when you're having a tower moment, that's when you're in that dark night of the soul energy. Understand this, the dark night of the soul does not have to happen for a year or a month or anything like that. Hell, you can have a tower moment, a dark night of the soul for one day, for 1 hour, for, you know what I mean? It does not have to be the end all be all. It doesn't have to be an extended thing. In fact, the more conscious you are, the quicker you are able to snap out of those moments, right? The less conscious you are, the longer it takes for you to see the light at the end of that dark tunnel. See, when you're having a tower moment, it's like a dark tunnel. It's like you're in this state of darkness and you're in this low state of being. You're emotional. Your thoughts are out of balance and out of whack. And you're feeling chaotic. And you don't know what the hell is going on. Right? The star card is the light at the end of that tunnel, because after the tower moment comes the star. Okay? If you look at the tarot, the major arcana going from, starting at the Fool, right? Right? Starting at the Fool, the 0, right? Going all the way up to the World card. It's a progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a progression, family. Are you understanding? The very next card in that progression, after the Tower, after the darkness, after the hurricane, after the tornado, after the earthquake, after you feel like you've been pushed off your rocker, after you feel like you've been pushed off out of your comfortability, what comes next is the star. The star represents renewal. It represents hope. It represents faith. It represents self-care. It represents you tapping back into all of the things that keeps you motivated. It represents inspiration. Okay? It represents you aligning with your higher self and you making strides and moving forward. So after you've experienced chaos, after things that have happened in your life that has made you reflect, that has made you look within yourself, that is forcing you to let go. Because when you have a tower moment, you're being asked to let go. You're being asked to surrender. After you have that moment, you have to get back grounded and connected to your higher self. You have to pour into yourself. You got to look for the bright, shining star that is you, your soul, your higher self. Okay? And so that means you have to pour into yourself. Look at this. She's pouring into the earth and she's pouring into the water, meaning you have to nurture your emotions. You have to allow yourself to have the feelings that you have in order for you to move forward. See, my midwife, Afua, she was in a sense nurturing this lack of forgiveness, this hardened heart, right? And here's the beautiful thing. She did get to a point in her life. She did get to a point in her life where she made peace. She made peace with herself. And that's why she made the transition. She made peace with herself. She decided that she was going to love and nurture herself. She didn't say that she was going to forgive the person who had caused her hurt. She took responsibility for that hurt within herself. Okay? So you have to nurture yourself. You have to nurture your feelings. You got to nurture those emotions. You got to nurture your earth. Okay? Meaning you have to nurture your heart. Do we understand? You got to nurture your heart. Sun Goddess said, wow, that's what my card said today to me in the hurricane today. I did a reading outside. Wow. It's all alignment. It's all just such a very, very powerful alignment. So in those moments where you're feeling lost, in those moments where you're feeling blocked, in those moments where you're feeling like that you are at a loss, in those moments where you're feeling confused, I'm telling you, spiritual blockages, they be showing up as confusion, delays, loss, things not working out in the way that you want. In those moments, it's not the end all be all, family. Okay? And you got to be the star. You got to tap into that star energy, right? You got to look for the light in the tunnel. You got to look at, okay, how am I being asked to change? How am I being asked to evolve? What am I being asked to do that is leading me to a deeper connection with myself? That is leading me to a deeper connection with my sacred self, with my higher self, with the God that dwells within. All these natural disasters, that's the only thing that is being asked. We're being asked in those moments, how can I lean more into my spirit? How can I lean more into my higher self? How can I open up and create space for my growth? A lot of times you are too connected to who you are, who you've been, what you have, what you don't have, and you do not allow the space. You do not allow Ganesha, my grandmother, to come through and open some shit up. And then you're wondering why you're feeling stagnant, why you're feeling stuck, why you're feeling blocked, right? And it's because you're not willing to look at the light in the end of the tunnel and really push through and make those radical changes, right? You got to be able to make those radical changes, right? And somebody had asked a question, I think it was Divine Zoe, that says, well, how do you let go really? See, a lot of times, y'all, spiritual people, you're thinking it's just a one and done. And this shit is never one and done. It's not one and done. It's every day. Y'all want, I made a video on Patreon. This video is dropping tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., I'm posting a video on Patreon that says change doesn't happen overnight. So many people got this spiritual work confused. You're thinking, oh, because you meditated today, because you recognize your trigger, because you see your shortcomings, because you can acknowledge what your mama, your daddy, and what everybody else did wrong, you think that because you did that it's over. No, you got to do the work every single day. Every single day, you got to challenge yourself to rise above that shit, because it has been literally ingrained in you. The way that you think, the way that you feel, the way that you act, the way that you move in life, you have been doing it for so long. You think just because you have an aha moment that you're good, that you're done. You think just because you let it go in this present moment that that's just it. And it's not. Every day, Love and B says never. It is a work that you have to do every single day. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes for you to embody that state of being on a regular basis. But y'all thinking it's one and done. Or let's just be honest, you really have it in your mind, right? that there's nothing that you need to change, that it's just the world outside of you that needs to change. And it's not the world outside of you that needs to change. When you change internally, the world outside of you changes. When you change internally, how you perceive other people changes. When you change internally, how whatever is being reflected in your world, that is what changes. Okay? But so many times we think, okay, it's the other person, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's all of this, it's all of this, it's that, it's that. How do you really let go? Is letting go really possible? That's just who I am. That's just what it's been. That's what it's always been. If you are really holding on to those, if you're really holding on to that state of being, then that's what it will be. Like I Am Infinite Being says, story of my life, confused, blocked on every corner, depression, shit lasting way longer than I would like. Well, first you got to change the story of your life. I say this to you in love, in complete love. You have to change the story. And you have to change the story every single day that you wake up. Instead of seeing confusion, you see clarity. And see, that's where your magical mindset comes in at, right? Because your mind is used to seeing things a certain way. That's you being convicted to a certain state of being. That's you unwavering on how you see life and how you see your life. And so you have to start seeing your life as clarity, as peace, as joy, as happiness. You have to start creating that within yourself because your mind makes everything real. But if you have this internal conviction of there's always confusion or depression or things not working out or blockage, if that is the perception that you have of your life, then that is what you continue creating. So on a daily basis, you have to create space for something else to come up in your life. You have to make space and say, you know what? Instead of being confused about this, let me create clarity around that and stand on that clarity. I got to stand on that. It doesn't matter. Okay? But this takes work and it takes consciousness. It takes real consciousness. We really got to understand that. Consciousness is really about understanding who you are and how you've been showing up in the world, in your mind, in your emotions, and in your state of being. And then it takes you being aware and being honest if the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, and the way you're showing up, if it is in alignment with your growth and your transformation and what you want to experience. And AA, I feel you, like, right? Like my birthday is next Friday. My birthday is next Friday. I'm so grateful for it, you know. But we don't have to keep dealing with things from people that is not in alignment with what we want to experience. You don't have to. But at the same time, you have to understand that you don't have to make it your responsibility to get retribution either, though. Right? You don't got to make it your responsibility. I trust that life is going to do what it do. Because people who do certain things, who don't have a pure heart, right? People who are vengeful, people who are just whatever, you know, people who have that type of energy, life is going to do what it do because they're not going to grow. They're not going to expand. They're going to be stuck. And they're going to create a hell for themselves. Right? Think about Lauryn Hill's verse. Think about Lauryn Hill's verse on Nobody, right? She said, walk into the ditch you dig yourself. You know, she said something, but a lot of times people are digging their own ditch. They're digging their own hole thinking that it's for somebody else, but it's for themselves. The spell has been broken. Ashe. The spell has been broken. Ashe. Says life corresponds with the nature of your song. You got to ask yourself, what kind of song are you singing? I love that. When you ask yourself the question, if I'm creating my own reality, why would I want to create anything less than an optimal situation? Just let go of all the old programming. It's that simple. It is, but here's the thing. It's easier said than done because the program is so thick, the program is so heavy. And that's the thing. This illusion is so freaking thick. You really be feeling like the shit that is happening in your life is really you. You really be feeling like the point of view that you have, the perspective that you have is really real. When at the same when the real reality is that all of these perspectives and all of these states of being are existing all at the same time. It's all real, all at the same time. All at the same time. Everybody's truth is their truth, and because it's their truth, it's the truth. So you have to ask yourself, is the truth that I'm operating on in alignment with what I truly desire? And paradoxical is the exact word that it is. So it just goes back to the message that I want to leave y'all with right now. And that is, address your heart. If you want to be able to bypass all of the chaos, like Mother Earth, the goddess, right? The goddess, Mother Earth, Daughter Earth, whatever, it doesn't even, none of that even matters, right? We know it's a real living energy. We know that this planet is alive and well. We know that. There's no question asked about it. This is how the birds know when to chirp. This is how, the leaves and the trees know when to bloom and when to die. It's a living, being, breathing thing. No matter what storms may come, and it's so funny because I've been spiritually hearing the song, this old gospel song, the storm is over now. The storm is over now. It's over now. Like if y'all grew up in the church, y'all know this song. It's over now. I feel like I can make it. The storm is over now. Y'all know that song? Yeah, you help me sing. Y'all know the song? The storm is over now. Y'all know that one? Y'all let me know if y'all know that one. The storm is over now. Listen, these storms, these moments of chaos will pass you right on by when your heart is in the right place. It'll pass you right on by. Or it'll come and it won't even last long. I tell you. I'm telling you from real life experiences. Like when we were in actual hurricanes, like real shit. I'm talking about flooding. People, like, man, one time my car got flooded. Man, Dream and I were like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. It got flooded, whatever. And that the flooding of that car led to us getting the car that I actually needed and wanted. What we actually needed and wanted because our family was expanding at that time. But it's all about where your heart is, your heart space, right? Your heart, the earth, right? The thunderstorms, the hurricanes, all of that is just, it's a physical representation of what is happening internally, what is happening spiritually. And so a lot of these places that are being hit hard with natural disasters and chaos, it's because the heart and the spirit of the space is not where it should be. And you will experience collateral damage of that if your heart is not where it should be, if your heart is not in the right place. I had a dream a few months ago where I was with our kids and it was just me. It was me and our 3 kids. And we're outside. Look like we're in Kansas or something, like on some real life, The Wizard of Oz type shit, right? We're in Kansas or something. And there's there's tornadoes coming from every direction. Tornadoes coming from every direction. And me as a mother needing to protect them, I'm like, okay, which way do I go? Because every way where I'm turning, there's a tornado, there's a tornado, there's a tornado. And in my dream, my spirit, my intuition just was like, okay, just cover them. And so I literally basically held my kids and I just covered them like that. Like I just covered them up. I just used my body as a shield for them while we got these tornadoes coming from every direction. And literally when the tornado came up on us in the dream, this orb, literally this energetic orb, this happened in my dream, this energetic orb just literally covered us. And when the tornado came, it basically split and went in a different direction. We were protected. Okay. We were protected. This a spiritual egg, an auric field, an auric shield. This all happened in my dream, literally covered me and our kids. Right. I don't know where Dream was at in the dream, but tornadoes every direction. I try to go this way, try to go this way, try to find shelter. I see shelter in these different locations, but we couldn't get there in time before these tornadoes would hit. And so I covered us. And right as this tornado was coming up on us, this energetic shield covered us, and the tornado basically split in one of the different directions. Literally happened in the dream. And in that moment, I just knew, right? I knew, and I received the message that when you lean into your intuition and you listen to that voice, you may not know exactly how, why, what, but when you listen to that voice and you follow that guidance, no matter what, when you do that, you are going to receive the spiritual protection that is required for you to not even just be okay, not even just for you to survive, but for you to thrive. And that's the truth. And that's the real truth. And so that's what I did, and that's what I'm telling y'all right now. Connecting to your heart is you connecting to your intuition, you connecting to your sacred self, you connecting to that divine sacred part of you that is you. That's what we're talking about. Okay. And so in that dream, that's just the gift that I want to give y'all. Like, y'all have to be willing to trust. Fuck what you heard. Forget what you think. Forget what the news is talking about with all of them. Listen to that voice. Listen to that intuition. And one of the main reasons why people don't listen to the intuition, one, because they're afraid of the unknown. Right? Two, too logical, too masculine, too attached to your ego, too attached to your past, too attached to your trauma. And so you're like, oh, because this happened to me in my past, I know this is what I should be or who I should be in this moment. I know this is what I should be doing. And so that attachment keeps you from listening to that sacred voice that knows, right? But your spiritual protection and your spiritual preparation comes from you listening to that voice, lightening up your heart, surrendering, letting go. Go get the book Letting Go by Bruce Lipton. I've given this book out time and time again. Go get the book Letting Go by Bruce Lipton, because you can read and make the connection between how to actually do this, but it's very simple. See, y'all think that this shit is difficult. It's not even very difficult. It takes discipline. It takes you making the decision. It takes you just being like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling this. This is here. I'm going to accept that this is here. Because understand this, emotions and thoughts, they're always in motion. Your thoughts are in motion. Your energy is in motion. Your feelings are always in motion. It's like water. It's always moving. It does not have to just sit there. It sits there because you resist the feeling. It sits there because you resist the thoughts. But when you surrender to it and you let it be and you be present with it, sure enough, it's going to leave. It just does, So you got to let your heart be light, and you have to tap into your forgiveness, tap into your intuition, and you have to be okay with the radical change that's being asked of you. Take the radical change. Go for it. Go for it. Your spiritual protection really relies on it. Your spiritual protection really relies on you doing the things that you need to do, whether if it feels comfortable or not. Okay? And then you allow that Ganesha energy to open the way for you. You allow that Ganesha energy to create that shield for you and open, part ways, right? Part ways. Spread the what was that Bible story where the dude used his staff, boom, and it parted ways in the ocean? That type shit. That's what we're talking about. That's that Ganesha energy. That is you. That is the energy that you have when you tap in and tune into your spirit. So you got to know that. You got to understand that. And I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all for this build. Meet me back here on Friday. On Friday, October 1st, the very first day of October. What I'm going to start doing, family, on Fridays, I'm going to deliver the message that I have to deliver, and then I'm going to do readings. Okay, I want to try to do that every Friday. I had a spiritual message. I had a spiritual download last week when I did that. Last Friday when I gave the readings, and Spirit was like, do that more often. That feels good. That's for you to do. So every Friday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to come on. I'm going to deliver the download, the spiritual message that Spirit has for me. And then we're going to go into readings, live readings, right? May use the tarot cards, may use an oracle deck. You know, we may talk about love, we may talk about finances. Who knows? We're just going to follow, you know, what spirit says. But last week we went to this store called Body, Mind, Soul, and they were doing readings in there. And I was so interested in that. Like, that was interesting, right? And Dream and I had a whole conversation about it. And then when we came home and I went live, something had told me to do readings. My intuition was like, you do some readings right now. And so I did. And then Dream Wise, being his divine masculine energy, was like, yeah, that felt good. That felt right. You know what I mean? That's something that we're going to do. So if y'all want to get readings, you got to meet me back here on YouTube on Fridays. Deliver the message, deliver the download, and then we'll go into readings on Fridays. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Happy Libra season. Happy fall season. And please, please, please know that you are protected. Know that you are divinely protected. It is real. It is true. And all you have to do is really lean into your intuition, lean into that trust. And yeah, I look forward to talking with y'all soon. Peace. And shout out to all the Patreon members, Sacred Sister Circle, Womb Alchemist. Shout out to y'all. I love you. I appreciate y'all. And thank you to everybody that was tuned in with your girl today. Make sure y'all like and share the video. There's somebody that can gain some value from this. That's what I know. That's what I feel. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't that. All right? Peace, family.